Gerald Salenti, and it's Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. Well, no Trends Journal coming out today. We're taking a break this week, but we're going to give you trends in the news. Remember, the trend is your friend. Today's April 2nd, huh? Yesterday was April Fool's Day. Guess what? Every day is April Fool's Day because we got fools running the world in a country near you. Yep. Who's your favorite fool? Oh, you like the little arrogant Trudeau up there in Canada? Oh, don't you know my daddy was? My daddy was Pierre. Oh, yeah, you like that Sunak over there? Oh, don't you know I married a billionaire's daughter? How about Olaf Scholz? Yep. Democracy. Little Catson Macron with a pecker the size of his pen and his little fucking fake hair. April Fools. They're fools that morons and imbeciles call politicians. Oh, they're my politicians. I'll do what they tell me to do. Anyway, going on to having another April Fool's Day, April 2nd. Hey, how about the markets today? Dow down. Oh, the quarter isn't starting well. That's all right. It's only temporary. To probably keep going up. But how about gold prices, huh? Oh, let's see. Gold today hit 2,000. It closed at $2,280 an ounce. Whoop. No news to Trends Journal subscribers. One of our top trends for 2024. A golden year for gold. We called it. We told you it would happen. Gold's up now about $250 since we said this. An ounce. There's your article. Right there. The trend is your friend. History before it happens. That's what we give you. The trend is your friend and the Trends Journal is your friend. Oil prices. Oh, hey, oil prices are hovering around almost $90 a barrel now for Brent crude. Let's go back a few months ago. They were hanging around $73 a barrel. But Trends Journal subscribers, we told you so. One of our top trends, we warned about oil prices going up because of World War III. Been writing about it now week after week, month after month, since the Israel war began when Hamas attacked on October 7th. 2023. We said that Israel is going to keep ramping up this war. They're going to attack Lebanon, Syria, and Iran. If they attack Iran, or not if, when, you're going to start seeing prices go up. So before we go into that, I want to take a look at what's going on in the markets again. One of your top trends for 2023 was office building bust. All right? We warned about this, and we said as a result of this, one of your top trends of 2024 is going to be banks go bust. So here are a couple of articles. They barely talk about it. This is Tuesday, March 26th. S&P Global downgrades outlooks of 5 regional U.S. banks to negative. Oh, wow. No kidding. Son of a gun. Banks face $2 trillion wall of commercial property debt. This is reported today in the Financial Times. How long we've been warning about this? Remember to subscribe. Click the bell icon for notification because we're giving you, and nobody in the world is giving you, trends. Again, my books, Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine. Trends 2000, international bestseller. Publishing the Trends Journal since 1991. Nobody matches what we do in all the broad ranges of trends. $2 trillion Ready? Banks will have to cut their exposure to commercial real estate because of a $2 trillion quote wall of property debt coming due. No shit. Blow me the fuck away. Guess what? They can't cut their exposure. They're going to get defaults on the loans. They're going to be a banking crisis, the likes of which we've never seen. That's what's also bringing up gold prices. The people that know. They estimate $2 trillion of U.S. commercial real estate debt maturing would have to be refinanced at much higher interest rates. Duh. This is old news to Trends Journal subscribers. Again, go back to last year around this time, Silicon Valley Bank went bust. Oh my God. Oh, the markets went berserk. Gold prices went up. That was one bank. Now you're looking at about 300 of from the latest data that are in trouble. S&P Global downgrades outlook for 5 regional banks. Okay. Report. 5 banks have a combined $500 billion in commercial real estate loans. Number 1 is JP Morgan Chase. More failed banks and office building demolitions likely coming before real estate problem ends. This is a great website, by the way, Wall Street on Parade. Study finds Wall Street mega banks have overstated income for years on commercial real estate loans. This just came out today on Wall Street on Parade. This banking crisis is a crisis like we've never seen before. Again, it goes back to your office building bust. This just came out today. Office vacancy rate nears 20% to set a fresh record. Moody's. 20% vacant. Nobody in them. Your office occupancy rate, according to Castle Systems, is about 51%. Vacant. How are they going to pay their loans on a vacant building? They weren't vacant before the COVID war. They weren't vacant before the COVID war. But thanks to the moronic, imbecilic politicians, the April Fools of every Fool Day, stay home. You can't go to work. You can't go to school. You can't do this. Yeah. And don't forget, when you jerk off, sanitize your hands. They destroyed this economy. They call it a pandemic. They call it a pandemic. The World Health Organization, the World Health Organization, on March 11, 2020, when the grand total of about under 5,000 people, like 4,280 people died, out of 8 billion in almost 2.5 months. More people fell down the stairs at that time and died. But they call it a pandemic. No, politicians did it, not the COVID war. Moving on. Downtown Portland's office vacancy rate, highest in the nation, nearly 30%. Portland was booming. New York City's delinquency property taxes soar. Yep. Overdue property taxes are forecast to reach the highest level ever, jumping by over 30%. Thanks to the COVID war. Thanks. Again, why are gold prices going up? The Israel war, the Ukraine war, banks go bust, office building bust. This is a golden year for gold. Tax in New York City transit jumped 50%. Now everything's fine. Oh, yeah, they got all the guys, the military there. You go, yeah, let me see you. Take off your clothes. Let me see if you got a gun up your ass. And then, as we warned about oil prices, Israel's going to ramp up the war. So, let's go back to last week. Israel airstrikes in Lebanon kill 9 people, including paramedics. Who cares? They're only paramedics. Israel could kill anybody they want. They're the chosen people. Death toll in Israel airstrikes in Syria. Aleppo rise to 52. This was on March 30th. It's Saturday. This is Tuesday. And then, yesterday, Israeli airstrike hits Iranian consulate building in Damascus. High-level Iranian generals reported killed. So they killed several Iranians and several Syrians. They bombed a consulate. You want to know why oil prices are going up? We warned you about, we didn't warn you, we forecast this. We said this was going to happen. This is just the beginning. Again, as I've said, oil prices could spike to $130 a barrel, and that's going to crash the economy and crash the global equity markets. But don't worry, when all else fails, they take you to war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday reiterated his resolve to launch a new offensive in southern Gaza. The looming operation is absolutely needed to achieve, quote, victory over Hamas, he insisted. Oh, if he insisted, then it must be true. So, what did Israel do yesterday? Israel's strike kills 7 aid workers in Gaza, World Central Kitchen halts operations. The people are starving there. It's genocide in front of everybody's eyes, and they keep on doing it. This is disgusting. And again, remember, let's go back to your Trends Journal. We've been reporting on this constantly. Oh, remember about the 200 people they killed when they were with food trucks? Yeah. Oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean to do it. And then this little clown boy, this little arrogant piece of fucking scum shit. He calls himself like a deacon or something, a deacon bullshit. Yeah, some cocksucker, some fucking cocksucker congressman. April Fools. Congressman calls to bomb Gaza like Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Tim Wahlberg. Tim Dickhead, Tim Scumbag, Tim fucking prick, Tim murderous scumbag piece of garbage. Oh, now you obey him. He's your politician. He'll tell you what to do. Yep. Rather than provide humanitarian aid to Gaza, the U.S. should ensure it is subjected to atomic bombing the way Nagasaki and Hiroshima were at the end of the Second World War, Republican congressman said in remarks. The comments by, Tim Wahlberg in Michigan. Yeah. It should be like Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Wahlberg said. Get it over quick. Look at this little piece of fucking scum. Look at this little piece of fucking shit. No outrage. You know why? Again, go to your Trends Journal. Remember when little Chucky Schumer, little fucking senator in New York, and decided to suck off the public and tell people what to do? Yeah, that little fuckface. Remember when he said, oh, Netanyahu got to go, blah, 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 blah. We said, this is nothing but bullshit. We said everything in the United States is their talk. It's all talk to make the people believe that they're against what's going on. Again, genocide, it's okay. It's the Israeli way from Trump, Biden to Congress. And if you hate Israel, you got to support genocide. Anyway, this is the commentary from Al Jazeera. And again, this is Saturday. Leaders, activists slam U.S. for sending more arms to Israel. The United States has green-lighted a transfer of $2.5 billion weapon package comprising bombs, fighter jets to Israel, according to the Washington Post. Yep. And then the Biden administration, this is from yesterday, antiwar.com. Biden administration expected to approve massive $18 billion arms deal for Israel to keep slaughtering the innocent people. Where's the outrage? Where is the outrage as our country is rotting in front of us? Bridges are collapsing. Roads are falling apart. Homeless filling the streets. Migrants everywhere. America keeps going to war as the nation keeps going to shit. Yep. This is an article from World Socialist website. Biden, Obama, and Clinton defend U.S.-Israeli slaughter of Palestinians. Clinton and Obama categorically defended Biden's policy in Gaza and declared their support for Israeli state. When a protester interrupted Obama, they raised $25 million for Biden. $25 million to run for president. Again, democracy. You don't have any money, you can't run for shit. And you got to be bought out by the people that are in charge. And when a protester interrupted Obama, the former president snapped back. You can't just talk and not listen. That's what the other side does. When you talk, not listen. You mean listen to your fucking shit spewing out of your phony fucking mouth? Oh, Obama, the guy quoted in the book Double Down, I'm really good at killing people. The Obama that gave us the Afghan troop surge. Yep. How stupid and gutless can you be to obediently follow your ignorant, arrogant political leaders? The Obama that lied his way to become president during the Iraqi crisis, saying he was going to be a peace candidate, piece of shit candidate. I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. Yeah, destroyed Libya, the richest country in Africa, where people had more rights and benefits than anywhere else. Destroyed Libya, Syria, over 6 million refugees. Assad has to go. We got to steal their oil and we keep stealing it in the East over there. Yeah. And this is the crap they come out with. And you're banned from the media. White House defends Shifa hospital massacre that killed over 400. There were Hamas fighters hiding in Al-Shifa hospital. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said, yeah, okay, yeah. That's why they destroyed over 70% of Gaza, the people's homes. That's why you have millions of people homeless. We're getting Hamas. They're hiding in their houses. They're in the basement. They're in tunnels. And Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Israel illegally confiscated nearly 700 acres of West Bank land since the Israel war began on October 7, 2023. Nearly 6,672 acres. God gave us this land. That's what that other scumbag who plays prime minister of Israel said. Isaac Herzog. What do you mean God gave you this? So what if I don't believe in your God? Can you handle that? Oh, no, we're the chosen people. You have to believe in our God. This is in violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations. Never mentioned. Never mentioned. They're stealing land in front of everybody's eyes, and the people that fight back to get their land back, why, they're terrorists, and they attack us. So if another country came to America, or Canada, or France, all these countries that stole people's land, and the people fought back against the invaders, they're terrorists. This is the bullshit going on. And then on the Ukraine war front, prepare for Putin pivot to invade us, says Baltic states, ramping up wars. We were warned. Europe has entered pre-war era. That was this guy, Poland, the Prime Minister Tusk said back on March 30th. And they just came out again. And he said Europe's peaceful era has ended. No, actually, he said this earlier. He just said on March 30th. He said the times of peace are over. The post-war era is over. And then he just said on March 30th that the war is no longer a concept from the past. It is real. And it started over 2 years ago. Yep. Every NATO member has military personnel in Ukraine, according to Estonia, which means they're at war with Russia. And then again, we look at the world and see what's going on. When the COVID war began, we warned that when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. They're going to lose it financially, spiritually, physically, mentally. And they have. These are two articles that just came out that we've been warning people about now since the COVID war began. We said this was going to happen. We forecasted. This is the headline from Al Jazeera on Monday. Why are so many young Americans suffering from mental distress? The number of young men and women suffering from depression and other mental health disorders in the United States has risen sharply since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a series of reports. Not a start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the start of the COVID war when politicians locked down people and sent kids home. And in the United States, there are 73 million 1 to 17-year-olds. And according to the data, under 2,000 of them died from COVID from January 2020 to June 2023 when they stopped doing the data. And it fucked them up. Front page article from the Toilet Paper Record on Saturday, March 30th. Pandemic effect. Absence from schools is soaring. Habit of daily attendance broken, and the shift turns education optional. Across the country, students with heightened anxiety are opting to stay home rather than face the classroom. Again, we said this was going to happen. It's happening. I talked about the office building bust. I talked about Bankscope bust, all brought to you by the COVID war. And now people's minds are going bust. The worst is yet to come. We have to unite for peace, or we're going to die in war. Do what you can to donate to Occupy Peace. And remember, as I said, the politicians, it's April Fool's Day. It's every day. So tell the politicians how you feel. You want to get this T-shirt. Then you get the T-shirt by going to trendsjournal.com and you see shop and you could get it. And there's the back of the shirt, because they're fucking over us, man, in a way that I don't like to be fucked. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow with Celente and the Judge, 6 p.m. Eastern time. See you then.
You know, Stevie here nearly bailed on you two again, stressing out about his spending. But then he discovered TSB's Spend and Save current account, earning him £5 a month for the first 6 months. Ooh, hiya! Saving
Pounds.
A bank account that helps you save money as you spend it.
Where next? I'm all ears.
Search Spend and Save.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I've just arrived here in Jordan, this massive warehouse, to prepare the second medical shipment that will be flying out to Gaza through Egypt, inshallah, in partnership with the Jordanian Hashemite charity organization. Alhamdulillah, 83 pallets filled with medical equipment such as antibiotics, painkillers, bandages, hemodialysis essential items, and many other essential items for babies and for everyone in Gaza. Your donations are making this happen. Please keep donating. Inshallah, we will deliver it on your behalf and it will reach the most needy in Gaza, inshallah.
Debt of over $34.5 trillion as we speak. And then the Biden administration wanting to increase that by what? Another $7.3 trillion, unveiling an election year budget of $7.3 trillion on top of that $34.5 trillion of US national debt. You were mentioning that we're seeing a trend in the monetary velocity chart spiking.
Yeah.
For, for the US dollar, and that is very problematic. Now, the monetary velocity chart for our viewers, that is the ratio of nominal GDP to a measure of the money supply, M1 or M2. And it can be thought of as the rate of turnover in the money supply, the number of times $1 is used to purchase final goods and services, included in GDP. Help us understand what you're seeing and what this means.
Okay. Well, the monetary velocity, basically, if you take on debt, and that can be stimulating, but that monetary, the number of times that the money changed hands, let me make it simple. Let's say I had a good week and I've been needing a new car. So I have the confidence to go out and buy that new car because my income's pretty steady and I feel like, okay, it's going to stay that way. So I go and buy that new car. Now, whoever sold me that car, that salesperson made a commission. And maybe there was they wanted to take their husband on a weekend vacation somewhere. But now, since that money changed from my hands to their hands, they feel confident in doing it and they go on vacation and they're feeling kind of flush. So they go to a restaurant, they leave a large tip, and now that wait person can maybe buy the sneakers that Johnny needs, right? So the number of times that money changes hands, that's key in knowing when and this is my opinion, so I have to say that, but it's key in knowing when hyperinflation has begun before you feel it. Because every time you talk to somebody that has lived through it, they say that they didn't know anything. Everything seemed okay. And then boom, all of a sudden they were enveloped in this hyperinflation. So what people do when they see that hyperinflation, the value of their money going down very, very rapidly, they will convert it into anything that they feel will hold value better. Look at China. I've been a China watcher for so long because I felt that their government, their regime was showing us, first of all, how to control a population. But when they took it too far and they squeezed the public too much, the public revolted. In a completely controlled society, that's pretty amazing to see. And it's also very telling. What's happening now? There is a gold rush in China. Now, you might remember that it was 2006 when the Chinese government allowed their population to buy gold again through the banks and hold that gold in account at the banks, which would make it very easy to confiscate whatever gold is held in the banks. But the Chinese public that have been trying to build their wealth in real estate, that's probably the key asset that they hold, but in their stocks and their bond market and in their private shadow bank market, I mean, they've been watching their wealth implode and now they're rushing to the safety of gold. And the beauty part about gold or silver or any of that, regardless of its form, it is monetary at its base. So this gives me hope for our future because we're watching a society that is so suppressed break out of that mold and then try and do things that will protect their wealth because they know now the truth about the fiat system, as you pointed out.
All right, a lot to unpack there. Lynette, I will say, though, that the people of China is one thing, but the government of China, the People's Bank of China, China's central bank, leading in terms of gold purchases, but also was the global leader in terms of pushing forward a central bank digital currency, the digital yuan, and linking it to a social credit system and linking it to a digital ID. They've sort of laid the framework for the nightmare scenario that we're all dreading with the prospect of a CBDC. Before we get to CBDCs, though, I do want to just circle back on this monetary velocity thing. And you used the term hyperinflation. That's inflation at an increase of over 50%. I mean,
Yes.
you're seeing that in the United States. Granted, I see the chart spiking. I see the dollars on staying in the same hands. I get your point. I don't even hang on to the same dollar for a day because I use it to buy something else, which shows the depreciating value of the dollar and the need for physical assets. But
it shows how uncomfortable you are, right?
But
It shows that-
hyperinflation, Lynette?
Well, the only difference, well, I'm not saying that the US is in hyperinflation now. What I'm saying that for me, that monetary velocity spike, since it is in a very pervasive way, that indicates the beginning of a hyperinflationary event.
Mhm.
And how do you go bankrupt? I think it was Ernest Hemingway that said slowly at first and then quickly.
Yeah.
And hyperinflation is the same way. When you read the documentation of people that have lived through hyperinflationary events, and I'm not talking about necessarily historically, that's true historically, but even currently, because there are a number of countries around the world that are experiencing that right now, they all say the same thing, that nobody saw it coming. Well, you didn't see it coming because you weren't looking. And what the monetary velocity chart does, it's an indication of that loss of confidence, of that conversion and buying things with those dollars when you get them, which is what I do too. I don't want to hold on to, you need to keep a certain amount of dollars because that's still our current tool of barter.
Right.
But I don't hold more of them than I need. And I only hold as much of them as I don't care if I can't use them, if they lose all value.
Right.
Because I have gold and I have silver to balance that out and recoup those losses and put me in a position like Steve Mnuchin is to take advantage of this crisis because I hold my purchasing power.
Right. And Lynette, that's why we're arguably seeing the equity markets hitting these levels, because people feel like the value of holding dollars in their bank account is losing their money. It's not doing anything. And so it's not necessarily that the economy is doing well, even though stock markets are hitting new all-time highs. The fundamentals of those companies certainly don't match. The price to earnings ratios are completely out of whack. But people, including myself, don't want to sit in cash, put it into equities, put it into gold, put into Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. I know we have different opinions on that one. But clearly, I get the point that people are not feeling comfortable with holding money. And that is illustrated by the money velocity chart as a very clear indication of that. Let's bring it back to central bank digital currencies, because you were one of the very first to sound the alarm about this way back when this first started. You were also one of the first to highlight the global trend of de-dollarization, meaning other countries moving away from the dollar as a reserve asset, opting to trade in their own currencies as opposed to the dollar, and the general bifurcation of the global monetary system. Also one of the early ones to flag that trend. In terms of CBDCs, do you still see this banking consolidation, this implosion as paving the way to a CBDC here in the United States, even though we have people trying to assure us otherwise?
100%. Yes, 100%. And the reason is because you can see the patterns every single time. And there's so much data on this, but the patterns of how you make this transition into a new system. And you need a crisis that's large enough to scare the people enough to comply and just to volunteer. And if you're not prepared, well, what's going to happen is there's going to be this huge crisis. They're going to give us all a whole bunch of CBDCs to go out and spend. And, even though FedChair says, we're not even close to it, blah, 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 they're running tests. So here's the thing. Their job is to lie.
Well,
because
well,
their job.
you mentioned Fed Chair Powell, and we do actually have the soundbite from him. He has spoken previously saying that it would require congressional approval. He's made those comments in the past, but more recently, he was speaking before the Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, and he stressed that the U.S. is nowhere near recommending or adopting a CBDC in any form, and we'll play that soundbite for our viewers now.
First of all, I want to say that we're nowhere near recommending or let alone adopting a central bank digital currency in any form. But the idea is that as technology has evolved, money has become digital. So, but the government doesn't issue digital money. It's digital. If you look at your bank account, people don't hold those physical dollars. They're digital. So the thought was that the government could create a digital form of money that people could then transfer among themselves. Now, of course, that raises a concern that if that were a government account, that the government would see all your transactions, and that's just something we would not stand for or do or propose. Now, of course, that raises a concern that